I'm Eddie Duah, Head of Brand Partnerships for Hero Brands. It was a massive transition really, because as a footballer, the only thing you think of is yourself. So your vision's from here to the end of your nose. And you have to be, I suppose, at the same time in order to succeed, because you're in a group or you're with a bunch of people that are all trying to strive and achieve the same things you're trying to achieve. So you got to have something that's going to separate you from the other 25 boys within your squad or within your team. And that a lot of that comes from self-belief and wanting to be the best, and at sometimes backing yourself and believing in your talent to be that. But the major difference from being a player to being an agent is that, like I said, your vision is very tunnel vision as a player, but as an agent you have to have lateral vision, i.e. you got to make sure you see everything that's going on. You got to deal with the player, you got to deal with the mum, the dad, the brother, the sister, the uncle, the cat, the dog. Everybody has an opinion on the player that you're working with, so therefore it becomes very difficult. But what I learned early on is that you have to be very strong and very focused in terms of what you believe you can do with that player and how you believe you can help him get to that next level. So you almost kind of have to drown out all the back noise in order to focus, and that's the way I went about my business. But it was a massive learning curve. No, it's not a branding agency. We are Hero Brands. So Hero Brands is one of the fastest growing brands in Europe, and we're under Hero Brands. Being a director of that, under Hero Brands, we have some brands you may know, some brands you don't know, and some brands you will get to know. So some of the ones that we're very, very proud about is GDK, German Doner Kebab, Island Pokey, Chopaluna. So these are the brands that are out there in the mainstream at the moment, and we got a whole host of brands coming out with some amazing partners, which obviously, God willing, in next year we should have them come to fruition and should be out and about, and I'll be able to talk about them even more. But for now, I think the ones that I'm really proud of is German Doner Kebab. We're flying really high, and we've got 75 stores open, if I'm correct, 75 stores open in the UK, with another 20 worldwide open as well. So, and we just opened in Canada and New York as well, so I'm very pleased about that. So the brand is doing fantastically well. We're the fastest growing brand in Europe, so from that perspective I'm very, very happy. So now it's about making sure we let the masses know about what we're doing, and more importantly, continue to fly that flag for Hero Brand, and maybe use that as a template for the rest of our brands, i.e. Chopaluna, Island Pokey, to kind of follow suit and go the same way. I think it's extremely important, because at the end of the day is that people would want to be people that they can see, and that goes back through test of time. When I was growing up, my idols was Ian Wright, John Barnes, Andy Cole, because these are the people that I physically saw, whether it was in person or on TV, doing what I wanted to do as a kid. And I feel that if you don't have anybody that you can aspire to be, or if you put on the TV and you don't see anybody that looks like you, it's very, very difficult for you to actually believe you can become that, because we are conditioned in a way growing up, is that if you want to be something and you can see it, then that's the easier way. But I think for me, going back to that representation question, I think it's super important for me, because even as a black man and being put into this position that I am in, and I'm also a father as well, so it's important for my children to be able to see that dad's not a unicorn, right? And there is more of us that are in these types of spaces and that deserve the credit that they should be given to them. And I think for us, there's not a lot of representation, whether it's in sport or whether it's in fashion, whether it's in entertainment. There is a lack of representation. I believe that we are tastemakers, and that goes right the way through anything that is now our pop culture. So I'm a massive believer in representation. And obviously for me, like I said, as a director of Hero Brands, I know the level of pressure that's on me, because I have been into meeting rooms and I turn up there and people are like, okay, so when's Ed coming? But that's the fact. And I understand that. I don't take it personally, but I understand it, because you know, they don't expect me to turn up, you know. And I think at the same time, that is my motivation, because I love the fact going against the status quo. And I think everything about me as a person is exactly that. We go against the grain, you know, and that's what I want to do. So for me, the legacy is to allow the next generation to see and believe that you can be anything you want to be. And hopefully, if I can help push the needle a little bit, that will be my legacy. Well, I think first and foremost, you've got to be extremely driven in this day and age. You know, I think when I was coming through, my only distraction was, and what we had was boys clubs, you know, youth clubs, you know. So I spent a majority of my informative years, my teens through, I was a youth club with my friends. We finished school, you get home, you do your homework, you put your tracksuit on, you go and play five-a-side football. So that was really like the foundation and the backdrop to me starting this journey and meeting the people that I've met and playing with the people I played with, and having friends that went on and represented England and played for some of the biggest clubs in the Premier League and in world football. So it all started from that foundation, and it's important, because, you know, we need to make sure that if there is a place where people can go to become successful. And I think right now what's happened is that there's so much choice out there, you know, whether it's PlayStation, whether it's hanging out with your friends, whether it's, you know, this, that, the other. There's a lot of distractions, but I think in terms of becoming anything you want to be, whether it's sports media or entertainment, or becoming a director of a brand, of, you know, creating your own brands, I think you've got to have that focus, and that initial focus has got to come from yourself and the company that you keep as well. Because for me, I was very blessed and very fortunate. I had a good group of people around me that if I was to go left or go right, they would always check me. And I think right now, you know, there isn't that level of loyalty out there for this generation of kids. And I think everyone's trying to fit in because they're lost. And, you know, for me, what kept me grounded was my family and the fact that I wanted to achieve something. And I think that's the message, and that's the biggest difference I see in this generation. I think right now everybody wants to be successful, but they're going about it the wrong way. And I think some of the ways that they go about it, it lands them either in trouble or they have a short-term level of success. And I think, you know, that's because maybe they don't see anybody out there that has gone through the hardship, come from where they've come from, you know, eating the foods that they've eaten, had the same level of struggles that they've had, but be able to still become a director of a brand and still be able to travel the world and still be able to earn a living and still be able to put their kids and their family through school. And I think that's the most important thing for me. You know, it doesn't matter where you're from. You know, it's not how you start the race, it's how you finish. And I think for me, it's always about finishing strong, you know, and that's the difference between, you know, where you start in life and where you end up. It's just that focus you have to maintain. Big shout out to Inside Success. Like and subscribe to the magazine online and any other platforms that Inside Success is on. Make sure you copy it.